Hi everyone, Josh Davis here, and today I want to share a story with you about me when I was growing up, actually from my middle school years. I was reflecting on this event earlier last week as I went on a long bike ride, and I remembered when I was a kid going on what we called bike hikes with my youth group. Bike hikes were these journeys where we would spend several days, and each day we would get up and bike 20, 30, 40 miles during the day. We would stop for lunch, we'd stop for breaks, and then eventually end up at a campsite where we would camp that evening. The next day we would get up and do another 20, 30 miles, and so on. It was kind of like a bike camping trip. And I remember this one particular bike hike that I went on was when I was in 7th grade. It was all middle school boys. There were a couple of 8th grade boys, and interestingly, the 8th grade boys had 10-speed bikes. The rest of us, me and the 6th grade boys, had just your typical BMX kind of bike. I was the only 7th grader, and so in the mornings I would get up and I would start off with the 8th graders and I would try to hang with them. But their 10-speed bikes were just way too much for what I could do. At the same time, I moved faster than the 6th grade boys, and so for long periods of the day I was in between. Couldn't keep up with the big guys, I was moving faster than the littler guys, and I was stuck somewhere in the middle. Well, it was actually the second day of this where I had a lot of alone time being stuck in between that I began to write a song. And this was the first ever song that I wrote that I actually shared with people and that I still can remember to this day. This was back in the 80s, so pretty embarrassed about the song. Actually, I would never sing it in public, but I do occasionally share it with beginning songwriters to just give them some encouragement. Usually their first song is a lot better than my first song was. But as I was reflecting on this week, I realized that it was actually out of that space of being in between, out of that liminal space, that creativity came forth. And if I'm honest, some of the best creativity in my life that has emerged from me has come from those liminal spaces, those spaces in between. And so I want to encourage you. Do you feel like you're in between in any way? Maybe it's generationally, maybe it's culturally, maybe it's left brain, right brain, whatever it is. Rather than trying to go one way or another, we do that as humans. I tried to keep up with the 8th graders. I tried to hang with the 6th graders, but I just couldn't. I was somewhere in between. Rather than you choosing one or the other, what if God has designed you to exist right there in the space in between? And what would happen if you were to willingly live in that tension? What creative expressions might come out of you as a result? Just something I'm thinking about today. Thanks for listening to my story, and I'd love to hear if you're in between, or you feel yourself in between, or you've even seen this connection between creativity and liminal space. I'd love to know about it. Hit me up in the comments and we'll have a conversation. This is just Josh Davis. Thanks for joining me for more creative content about how to engage your story and engage your soul with God. Join me on Patreon. There's a link in the description.